Hello, my name is Max. I am supposed to represent our group to present you with an everyday problem that involves a way of knowing. So there is a recently quite popular trend in education, which is what is called a bilingual or multilingual studies, or actually a school. And this consists of having the students learning one more language, or you actually using them in their education. As for example, a student still learns English whilst learning other subjects in other types of languages. This happens especially in Taiwan, as there are many schools who are recently trying to become international now have these kind of different programs. Like for example, there's still Chinese class, but like for example in math or in the sciences, they would teach it in English. And this would oftentimes be a challenge for a student, because the student are not recognize the language, this specific way of knowing. As for example, a student may be skilled in their own native language, but they could not or do not know the English language, or in some cases they know the English language, but they could not connect the two languages together, so there will be a gap of understanding, as they call. For example, like this gap of understanding, or also so-called the translation gap, oftentimes most occurs when a student is trying to translate different subjects. For example, when a student when he's in his elementary school, he's learning math in Chinese. But then in junior high or in high school, he's learning math in English. He will have or other languages. For example, if he's going to Japan overseas, maybe learning math in Japanese or something. And this will oftentimes be a challenge for students, because oftentimes it's not the problem of the Japanese language. Oftentimes, when you're overseas, usually you study language, so you should know about it. But then it's oftentimes very difficult to translate different languages different subjects to different languages, actually. And this is because different languages often are based upon different systems and different ideas, and many words inside languages often contain different meanings, or they have different structures that would make the students have a hard time trying to comprehend or trying to connect the dots. And the language, which is a way of knowing, as I mentioned, must be utilized very skillfully. And how do we do this? Well, usually when you're learning a language into different subjects, then you have to understand the language, or how to translate the language skillfully. And translating involves a lot of in-depth learning on the different languages. As for example, or in some cases, like for example, a student might be skillful in talking, but then he is not really actually understanding language. What makes the language tick? And the basis of the language, what makes the language tick, is essential for the student to translate language at ease.